What could Crash Team Racing 2 look like, and what new features could we see? Let's talk about it.
Whoa!
What's up guys, Canadian Gaia here, and back with a brand new video. It's been a while since I talked about CTR, and I wanted to revisit it, but not exactly CTR Nitro Fueled, but more of a hypothetical sequel. What could it look like? What would be added? What would be taken away? There's a lot to break down here. So first things first, from a technical aspect, I think it would be a natural form of progression to make the next Crash Racing segment in the Unreal Engine using the Crash Bandicoot 4 aesthetic. With the power of the Unreal Engine, I think that it would make the game overall look absolutely amazing. But another feature that I think is essential is 60 frames per second. While CTR Nitro Fueled was designed with some form of a pseudo 60 frames per second, it's hard to compare it when it's side by side with the real thing. The good news is that with the release of the PS5 and the Series X, the new modern consoles can run these games at 1080p 60 frames per second. Of course, there are a lot of people that prefer 4K 30 frames. And because running 4K 60 frames is still a difficult task for modern consoles, I think an option between both would be the best thing. Now, this is where we hit a bit of a brick wall. Here's the thing, CTR was just about dang near perfect. The controls are better than the original, the graphics are better, the mechanics are better. It has almost every single Crash character imaginable, thousands of kart customization combinations, skins, tracks, collectibles, online play. The game literally has it all. It's hard to improve on what's been established, but we don't want to change something for the sake of just, well, change. However, I do think that there are areas for improvement. First things first, the driving styles. Of course, you're going to see different styles of driving rise to the top of meta lists, but with CTR, it was almost kinda busted. All you saw was speed and drift, with the occasional acceleration engine. All round and turning largely was left in the dust. So I thought, how can these classes and driving styles be a bit more balanced? That is when I came up with my first two ideas. The first one is actually adjusting the classes in some way, shape, or form. And I had the perfect idea. When you get behind, one of the items you can get is the mask power-up. But in Crash Bandicoot 4, we had gotten 4 brand new masks introduced to the universe: Lonnie Loli, Akano, Kapunawa, and Ika Ika. Now, if you include Aku Aku, that's 5 masks. There just so happens to also be 5 driving styles. Each mask would work for their assigned engine type, but each would have a different power-up when you get the mask. So, for example, because Lonnie Loli is scared of everything, he wouldn't want to go that fast, so he would be assigned to the turning driving style. Now, the turning driving style is considered to be the slowest driving style, but let's add Lonnie Loli to the mix. When someone with the turning driving style gets Lonnie Loli as a power-up, they would not only be able to phase hazards out of existence, but could access shortcuts that only those with Lonnie Loli could access. This gives a buff to the turning driving style, while not giving them more speed and not impacting the other driving styles. All the other masks would have their own class and power-up that would be applied when they got the mask item. And of course, Uka Uka would be given the same placement as Aku Aku. The next thing that I think would make the game a bit spicier would be the choice of classic races or a brand new mode, quantum races. So, classic races would work just the same as normal. You pick a track, you race on it. Simple. But because we are now dealing with consoles that have extremely fast SSDs, levels can load and unload at an extreme rate of speed. So, with this technology, why don't we take a chapter out of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart's book? The race could begin on one track, but as you complete the first lap, a quantum rift opens up and you enter a brand new track. This would make every race different and a lot more diverse. Of course, some tracks are open and great for speed players, while other tracks are a bit complicated and might benefit those who have a bit more control of their kart. So choosing an engine type would require strategy and thought for quantum races. I also think that quantum races should be the focus of the single player mode overall. CTR 2 could also become the best game for Crash Bandicoot fans everywhere when it comes to fanfare, levels, and skins. Crash Bandicoot 4 opened a whole can of worms when it was confirmed that all Crash games are canon, and that each Crash is just a different timeline in the gigantic multiverse. That means that there is an unlimited amount of ideas that could be mined for level and skin designs from any Crash game, from any location, at any time. Even Crash on the Run is bringing skins back from some of the classic games like Twinsanity, Wrath of Cortex, and yes, even Crash of the Titans. This mindset can be brought to CTR 2 and for it to become one of the best racing games of all time when it comes to fanfare for the fans. Now, if you have been pessimistic about some of the technical issues that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled had, those obviously would be fixed as well. The wonky hitboxes were sometimes attributed to the engine that they were designing the game on, and most of the online issues were due to the fact that the game did not have dedicated servers. Now, I think the reason why they didn't have dedicated servers is that neither Activision nor Beenox likely expected for the game to blow up the way it did. I mean, the game won a Game Award, the first time in Crash Bandicoot's history, so changing the game's engine to the Unreal Engine, while also allocating dedicated servers, would fix the majority of the issues that the game had. The Grand Prix were also such a fantastic idea and were a blast, and I think more monthly or even seasonal content for CTR 2 that lasted longer than Nitro Fueled's would be overall beneficial. The thing is, we want to make a meaningful sequel to the Crash Team Racing franchise and not make changes just for the sake of making changes, but fixing the issues present in the original game while also expanding and polishing what made the original so good in the first place. But I think these ideas could overall improve the Crash Team Racing experience. What do you think? What would you like to see in an added hypothetical CTR 2? Comment below and let me know. Thank you so much to all those who not only support the channel, but myself and my family. Because of your contributions, I'm able to do this full time. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider clicking the join button or becoming a Patreon with the link in the description. I also live stream every Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on by and say hi. Again, thank you to everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video and or live stream.